Hello everyone and welcome to this Q30 Sports Weekend Recap. We're here inside the Piazza at the Student Center on Quinnipiac University's Mount Carmel campus alongside Carolyn Fales. I'm Mark Spillane. We're here today to chat about Quinnipiac's 2-1 three-game series victory over the Union Dutchmen in the ECAC Quarterfinals. Carolyn, today was Game 3. The Bobcats came out on top 3-1. But it wasn't all roses for Quinnipiac.
No, definitely
Michael
not.
Gartic had to stand on his head.
He did. It was definitely a game of the goalies. And I mean, into the third period, Union is down 2-1. They were coming out hot. They were looking for chances, and they outshot Quinnipiac 11-3. And all of those shots were going against Quinnipiac. Gartic had a stellar game. Pecknold called him the best player on the ice after the game, and I think he definitely was.
That's Coach Pecknold's golden line. The winning goalie is always the best player on the ice, but Michael Gartic really was the best player on this. I mean, you said it, 11-3. Throughout the game, the Bobcats looked pretty good, especially early on in the first period. They looked like they were playing pretty well, but you could tell that once they got that lead, they started sitting back on their heels. They started playing a turtle defense, as some people like to call it. And you know what? I think some of that may have had to do with the fact that Sam Annis, one of their best players, left the game with an injury. We don't know exactly what it is right now. We're not going to speculate, but it was clearly a left leg injury. He didn't put any weight on it as he left. Sometimes a big-time player going out like that can really impact a team. I don't know if maybe they thought that, you know, maybe we just got to get out of here and get on to Lake Placid. Luckily they did, but their power play did not look the same with him not in the game.
No, definitely not. And he was huge in the first game, as we know, getting those 2 goals in the third period to bring them back. So I think they all just said, we need to step it up, we need to go, and they got the job done. I
mean, you mentioned the first game. That was an absolute thriller. I was on the call with Rob Siammer for the Quinnipiac Bobcat Sports Network. And I remember thinking, with about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to go, well, it looks like Quinnipiac's going to have to win 2 to try to come back and win this series. And then Rob said something along the lines of, well, you know, there's a chance. And then, you know, they got within 1, as you mentioned, with Sam Annis. And then and at the, I think it was like the 47-second mark, there was 6 men on the ice, too many men on the ice call against Union. And then off the triple overtime they went, and both goalies were stellar in that one. I actually thought Colin Stevens was the best player that anyone could have been in the series for that, 40 minutes or so from first overtime through when the game ended. He was unreal. He stood on his head and kept Quinnipiac out of the back of net probably 3, 4, 5 times where they had golden chances. Without him, it would have ended way sooner.
I mean, those overtimes for Quinnipiac, they were just firing shots at Stevens. They looked totally in control, and he was just not having it. And Rick Bennett said that he's a championship goalie for a reason, and he showed it in that game. And I think he also played really, really well this weekend.
Bobcats fired 51 shots on goal in that first game, so they were absolutely peppering him. But they showed guts coming back, being down 2 goals with about a minute and a half to play. Incredible job by them being able to do that. But then talk about guts. Union bounces right back the next day. I said to a couple of people, because I was talking to some former Quinnipiac student media members before the game who were in town to watch the game, and they were saying, big win for Quinnipiac, big win for Quinnipiac. And I said, guys, listen, if there's anybody who's going to bounce back from that, it's this team. Coming into the weekend, Rick Bennett had never lost an ECAC game, let alone a series, while he's been at Union. This is his 4th year, and they're defending national champions for a reason. They showed guts coming out and getting that victory, especially after Quinnipiac scored early. They responded, and they bounced back.
I mean, he says that Union's style of play is simple. They just want to get their passes, not do any cute stuff, he was saying in the press conference. And I think that they definitely showed that in the second game. They came out confident. They knew what they had to do. They had reviewed what had gone on in the first game, and they knew what they needed to do to get the win, and they did.
Well, unfortunately for them, this is going to do it for their season. They needed to get the victory and then probably needed to win the ECAC as a whole up in Lake Placid next week to have any chance for the NCAA tournament. And they're a really scary team. If I was anybody in the NCAA tournament, I wouldn't want to play them. And you look up and down their roster. We were taking a look at their line chart before the game, and from guys like Ryan Scarfo, Max Novak, Daniel Ciampini, that's the top line. And Ciampini and Novak, they're terrifying to play against. And Novak scored one of the nicest goals you're going to see in Game 2, sliding to his knees and still batting the puck back past Gartic. And looking forward to next week, there is no Sam Annis that we think will play. We don't think he's going to play. We really don't know. But just based upon the fact that he couldn't put any weight on his left leg, I would be really surprised if he played. But they're going to either play Colgate or Harvard, depending on what happens with Harvard and Yale series. Who do you think is a better matchup for them? I think it's kind of a toss-up.
I think it is, too. Harvard's been very impressive against Yale. So I don't know. I think it's Colgate that's going to be the better matchup for them. I think coming out of this weekend has given them a lot, I think, for Quinnipiac, a lot of momentum. I think they played tough, and that they really stepped up their game because Union gave them such a tough run. So I think that Colgate would be the better matchup.
Well, the Bobcats flattened Colgate here at home back earlier in the season. I think it was a 5-0 victory. Harvard, however, flattened Quinnipiac here in Hamden, 5-2 victory for the Crimson. So I guess it really is a toss-up, and Colgate has a little bit more experience. They've actually eliminated Quinnipiac before in the ECAC semifinals within the past couple of years. So they're a team that really knows what they're doing, but for the Bobcats, if Sam Annis can't play, I don't know who's going to be able to fill in for them. My guess would be maybe Andrew Tavener or Tanner McMaster slides up to that top line. I mean, if you had to pick one person on it, who do you think it would be?
I think it could be Matt Pekka even too. I think that he has shown some really great leadership, and I think that he could do the job as well.
I could see that too. I'm just thinking that maybe they'd be hesitant to break up that second line of Janssen, Pekka, and Smith. Well, I mean, that's all the time we have today. Carolyn, thank you for joining me, but be sure to check out Q30 Sports on Twitter at Q30 Sports and check out our website at Q30television.com for more coverage of the ECAC's upcoming semifinal and final weekend, and then further on down the road, providing that the Bobcats make it to the NCAA tournament. Carolyn, thanks again. For Carolyn, I'm Mark Spillane. Thank you for watching.